but Bill, the Buds instructor's here. Bill had been a SEAL for, I don't know, about 4 years before I became one. So he was already an experienced SEAL, and that was my first platoon, and Bill was in it. He was our point man. He was our sniper, and Bill did 3 tours at Buds, 2 as an enlisted guy, 1 as an officer. Me and Bill have always been great friends, been together a long time. He spent 30 years in the Navy, and just over at SDV team, a platoon commander. What we did was Bill and I made chief together. We made first class together, first class petty officer, then we made chief together, and the day Bill found out he made chief, his orders were accepted to go to OCS. He had got his college degree, and Bill was on his way to become an officer. He came back as one, and worked over Team 4 as a platoon commander, SDV as a platoon commander, and then he went on to becoming a task unit commander. And the last time I saw him was in Afghanistan. We had chow together in Afghanistan, in Kabul. He was task unit commander over there. Before he retired, I was with Blackwater, and we bumped into each other over there, Team Guy Central, and had a meal together. And you know, he comes down a lot for the courses when he's in town. Bill's thing that he does has him traveling all over the place, so he comes down for the courses, and just tells you guys a lot of good stuff about Buds and SEAL Team. Probably one of the most experienced guys out there. I think Bill's might have, I know he has at least 12 platoons under his belt, which is a lot. So he's been around a long time. Bill, the Buds instructor, is going to enthrall us with statistics from Buds, from all his time out there. Very strange what he's going to tell you, the areas that are going to surprise you that most guys quit at, the evolutions outside of Hell Week that most guys drop at. He's got some very strange statistics that, you know, over all that time that he has, and he's got some pretty entertaining stories as well. All right, I guess I better get Bill on the line, and we are going to hear some strange but true stories about Buds and Buds training for you guys. Real important stuff. Bill has done a lot, and I think you're going to really be surprised when you hear from Bill that in Bill's opinion, Buds training is harder now than it was when we went through.
Hey, this is Bill.
What's going on, badass?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm kicking out here. Got a nice crowd of dudes tonight.
Nice.
Getting it done, and plenty of guys. I've been priming them up for you. The guys that missed the first time you were on. Always good to run it down, man.
All right, bring it.
Yeah. Hey, one of the guys was talking the other night. Asked a question about the Stoner, and I know you used to carry that thing as a point man. What'd you think of the Stoner?
I was lucky because Bud Gardner of Vietnam Hero was my chief, and he was point man in Vietnam, and he wanted me to carry the Stoner, so he went through the command, and we cannibalized a bunch of Stoners. Not all Stoners worked as good as mine. It was probably, mine worked about 95% of the time, but the average one probably worked about 70. It wasn't near as good as what the SAW is today.
I got a really good picture of you up on one of those videos. You're standing in the background of Mount Fuji in Japan with that Stoner.
Yeah, it's a badass gun. It doesn't have double the cyclic rate of the 60, but it's got a real quick cyclic rate, and it gets rounds down range real nice.
Did Bud put you up on point? Is that where your point career started, point man with Bud Gardner?
Yeah, that was my first platoon, was with Bud. I was pointing about 4 or 5 other platoons though too. So yeah, it started with Bud.
What do guys look for in a good point man?
Usually a good point man is, you know, a guy like you is just going to be given the 60 just because you're huge, and a guy who ain't as big as you, who's, you know, I mean, point men usually swim the line across for river and stream. They're usually your lead climbers. They've hunted when they were young, so point men are generally a more compact, agile guy than a big old hulking, you know, radio man. You know, the biggest guys get the radio in the M60 basically in a SEAL platoon.
Yeah, that's for sure. I crossed the quarterdeck at Team 1, and they were like, "Just go to the Army and get this armory and get the 60 now."
Oh yeah, Yeah.
Hump that pig all over the place. What about your guys? Really got a ton of questions about your buds background, dude. What is the in all that time you were out there? What is the most guys you've seen line up for the bell at one time to get out of?
Well, let me straighten. You always say I've been to buds 3 times. I was there twice. Got to go on the record. So I did 5 platoons at Team 1, and I went to buds. I was first class, and I was in dive phase for a year. I made chief. They needed a chief in land warfare, so I went out to land warfare for a year. And then I came back to buds 10 years later as lieutenant, and I made lieutenant commander there, and then I was the advanced training officer. So I was there probably a total of 5 years over, the 27 years I was in the Navy. So anyways, the most helmets, the most dudes I've seen lined up, probably a dozen.
And what run them off?
Yeah, it's Hell Week. Hell Week is, obviously, everyone knows, that's when people decide they really thought they wanted it, and now they're not so sure. And I've seen your videos, and it's just, get over that moment of, me and you enjoyed it. It's like, bring it on. I wanted more guys to quit. I wish it would have just sucked just a little bit more, and we would have lost a couple more guys. But some guys just don't like it. That's where their command decision that affects the rest of their life, and the wrong decision, obviously.
I see these comments still on my YouTube channels from guys that have dropped 20 years earlier, and still, man, they still have such a hard time with that. It's something that hits them every day when they wake up.
Well, the other thing is that'll affect them for life, because most guys who come were good at sports or good at whatever, and then it's the first thing most guys fail at is that part of buds. And then the other part is you can quit in Hell Week, and you can come back 2 years later or 4 years later and make it, but you got a long road to hoe, because there's a lot of dudes remember you quitting. So even though you made it later, it's like, but I remember you as a quitter. I wasn't there when you made it, 4 years later. So yeah, you don't want that on your record.
And they pull the records of everybody when they come in to see if they've been there before.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of a target on your back, and it goes pretty hard for those guys that are back for a second time.
Yeah, their attrition rate is definitely no better than just a regular guy.
Easy day, but hey, a lot of them do get through the second time around. I know plenty.
They do, just by sheer numbers. And some of them had a moment of retardedness and thought something hurt more than it really did. They don't realize that everyone there's hurting. It might be your knee, it might be my neck, but nobody's like breezing through that week. And they figure it out, and they come back and they power through it.
I think a lot of the young guys have trouble. These guys get through boot camp, go through pre-buds, and then they check in the buds. They're young guys. They don't even know how to salute properly yet. Never been on a ship before, and they're thrust into the toughest military training in the world, man. I went through it 22. I'd been in the Navy for a little bit.
Yeah, but me and DJ did it. DJ was 17, I was 18, and it can be done early too.
Yeah, plenty of them, man. Plenty of them. Absolutely.
Yep.
You were telling me something not long ago about the chow hall that really kind of surprised me.
Yeah, I said the most, and it's the most in a comfortable setting. They go to chow, and guys will make it. They'll power through the whole day, and there's 4 chows a day during Hell Week, of course. And it could be mid-rats, and they're not ready to get back in the water because that's the first place you're going after mid-rats, or it's just they sit down for an hour with no one yelling at them, and they start feeling sorry for themselves. And it's not like they're quitting. They'll finish an O course, or they'll finish a 3-mile swim, get dressed, go to the chow hall, and then quit at the chow hall. And it's like, why didn't you quit before you just busted your ass moving that IDS over the O course or something else? We could never figure out why they would wait till they got to the chow hall. But we just figured it was they were warm and comfortable, and they felt safe, and they just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, it does get a little tough getting up from that warm chow hall. You know, I remember Bill said that you eat 4 times a day in buds. And the midnight meal, the instructor's been up, and usually that's time for the talent show. We do that down here for the courses. And, if you're funny and you can keep those instructors entertained, you get to hang out in the chow hall a little bit longer. But going outside, man, it's just all bad out there, Good, good memories of some talent shows for mid-rats?
Oh, no, actually, you went through a little bit different generation than me. We went right behind the EM club. I mean, it was clockwork. Get your boats, would shuffle out to behind the EM club and sit there, while they were doing the shift change, and just it was freezing. It sucked, but that was that was not a good part.
You had also told me one time that surprised me a little bit because all the old guys refused to kind of believe that. I didn't have a problem believing it, but you had told me that you thought buds was harder now than it was when we went through.
When I went through buds, it was hard, but there was a lot of filler hard. Where now everything's hard for a purpose. Like you couldn't make Dregger training too hard, or land warfare too hard. It's just you got to really put out and think. But we had to learn Morse code. We had to learn semaphore, stupid stuff that we'd never used. And now every minute is taken up with real requirement stuff. So, and the training evolutions, everything's more scientific. It is harder.
Excellent. I know a lot of old guys have a problem with some of that, but yeah, I can buy that. I can buy it. We were more guys that were in the trench warfare phase or some stuff. These crazy, man. All the open sights,
Well, when we went through, it was the Vietnam guys teaching us, this is how you survive in Vietnam, and do it this way because that's the way to do it. And that was kind of the mindset. And that was the mindset the first time I was an instructor there. But the second time I went there, it was more, man, maybe this exercise is stupid and we're just wrecking guys' shoulders down the line. So, we're going to invent another exercise, but one that just doesn't damage a shoulder, a rotator cuff for no reason, things like that. They made the O course, they changed a few obstacles on it. Some were they weren't good for your body. It's still just as hard. It's just a little bit smarter obstacles now.
And they try all different kinds of stuff. I hate to admit it, but my buds class was the first class to run in tennis shoes before Hell Week. They tried it to eliminate the shin splints and everything else. All the other guys did all their buds. It wasn't our choice, but God, we'd run past the teams every morning and through every meal, and it'd just be SEAL Central out there calling us all pussies. You pussies, And, they went away from it because it didn't work. I think we were probably about the first or near last class that ever, we were the first, but near last class they ever tried that with. But they keep trying stuff to get get guys through.
Yeah, and I never ran on the beach without boots until I got out of buds. And you find out it was easier for me to run on the beach, like soft sand with boots on, for the ankle support and everything. And you could pile through little sand dunes. So, there's, you try to make it better by putting on tennis shoes, then guys were probably twisting ankles and getting just so many shin splints. So that's probably why they went back to the boots.
I think you had done your college thesis or something about the statistics for training has been all over the place over all the years. It was done in Hawaii at one point, some of it the old UDT things, and down in Florida training used to be done at Little Creek and San Diego at the same time. And you came up with some pretty cool statistics about what if they did standardize it and kind of like put the training in Hawaii. Got a constant kind of a constant temperature, a constant water temperature instead of the winter classes and the summer classes and all that.
Yeah, well, I started writing it, and I thought that I was the winter class, and we had about 10 original guys, maybe 9 rollbacks. And then I see these summer classes roll by with 50, 60 guys. So in my brain, I go, summer, everybody makes it, winter, nobody makes it. And that's how I started the delta, it's not that huge as I thought it was. It was people show up so they can go through Hell Week in July. People don't want Hell Week in December because they're smarter than I was.
Yeah, smarter than me too. I just grabbed my orders. You know, when I made up my mind, I just grabbed my orders. I didn't care. So well, it all worked out.
Oh yeah. Oh no. And it just depends what you like. Like you would have hated the summer because you hate the heat anyways. And I really don't like sweating my ass off either. I mean, there's a lot of shivering, but it's nice being able to run and be cool when you're running rather than sweating your ass off. And the other thing about buds was, like, when I'm on the island, when I was an instructor out there, we'd have a summer class, and it wouldn't get dark till 8:39 at night. Well, guess what, dudes? We're going to keep you busy till that, and then we're going to run you on night evolutions. We're a winter class. You can start your night shoots at 5 o'clock in the afternoon or, 6 o'clock, and they're done by 8. So there's advantages and disadvantages of both.
Yeah, it was like the combat swimmer courses during the summer. You know, we'd come in, after work for a night dive, and you weren't even getting in the water till 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So yeah, always easier. Even though it was colder in the wintertime, we were getting the dives done. Getting them, starting them at 5:30, 6 o'clock, getting our night dives done, and then we were done. Yeah.
Combat swimmer is one of the things that brings up how buds got better. When I went through training, maybe you couldn't wear a hood and you couldn't wear bottoms. You just had a hand-me-down wetsuit top. And we were in the San Diego Bay 3 times a day. It was December, January. The water was cold. And if you got caught with a hood, you got kicked out of training. It was retarded. And now nobody would quit because of it. It would just suck every single day. So now they let them wear hoods, and they give them like a 3-2-1 or keep their legs warm. It's training smarter than it was.
Yeah, I remember guys trying to put trash bags on under their wetsuit. That's what we wore, just the top. Guys trying to put trash bags under there, anything. If you got caught with it, man, it was bad.
Oh yeah, it would be real bad. And we'd stick our head with, we dove the Emerson. That was before the Traeger, but same deal. And we'd be out there behind the EM club, and you'd just hear like 15 guys, 20 guys screaming underwater in their mouthpiece because they got their ice cream headache going for the first 10 minutes. And it was like you just know that for the next month and a half, you're going to be doing this. So it was challenging.
Yeah, second phase was I went through second phase in December or something, and bad, oh man, you just get out of Hell Week and first phase because you've been in the water all that time, and then second phase was just a bitch because you were just in that cold water all the time, exhausted, having to study, learning all your dive medicine, all your dive rigs, all your dive physics. So yeah, second phase was the toughest for me.
Yeah, I had a secret weapon. I had an electric blanket in my bed, and I'd turn that baby on before I'd go out for the night dive. And the whole time when I'm like post diving my rig, on the dive, post diving, running up to my room, I'm thinking, oh, my bed is going to be so warm. It's cold to the bone. And there was no rule against having an electric blanket in your bed, at the time. So get your body core nice and warm.
And then, outside of buds, it becomes that controlled environment when you get in the SEAL team. I remember that one op we did in Korea, taking out those missiles. Remember that we split up ridge to ridge, and how cold that got, man. Korea and some of the other places we'd go.
The
what?
The one where it was like freezing.
Oh yeah.
And I had to spend like 3 days in my typhoon suit because the chief gave somebody else my sleeping bag because they were freezing to death. that sucked ass.
Oh, dude. Oh, I was so cold I pissed myself. I didn't even know it. And you just go on to doing so much worse stuff in SEAL team, or harder stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And you just kind of, outside of buds, everybody thinks buds is the end of it. It's not, man. That shit is only the beginning. And but you just kind of get
about it is, like buds, it's controlled, and they're not going to let you die. They're not going to let you get too lost, whatever. And so it's super controlled. Then
One of the guys asked a quick question on here. I'll butt in. I think you were saying about buds being harder now isn't really a PT type of harder. It's more technically harder. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Like I said, the no hoods. Yeah. That was hard, but it was stupid. It didn't make anybody any better or anybody any stronger. Now they can concentrate more on hitting the target and their pace count and breathing the dragger the proper way. In our day, we were just, all scrunched up into a little ball trying to keep from freezing to death. But they make up for that with, more technical stuff. It's still very hard. I took these new age SEALs in Afghanistan up in the mountains, and they kicked ass beyond belief, and they still are. I mean, so blood still makes good guys.
Oh yeah, they get it done, man. I meet all the new guys out there and hear all the stories. I got one going to get on here maybe tonight, but Monday. A pile of them just showed up out here from a recent Buds class. So, hearing what's going on out there, and they're just rock stars,
Yeah.
Young guys out there just getting it done, Go get them, man. Go get them. What kind of good training tips you got for these guys after all that Bud stuff? We got so many new guys on here that were not on the first time you were on. What do you got to tell them to?
The one I told last time is don't be a whiner. Everybody hates a whiner. Don't be an ass kisser. It doesn't even matter. You could be the slowest runner in your class, but if you're making the times and you don't come across all pathetic, like dramatic, I guess drama is the word. Guys hate drama. When you're out on an op and it sucks and you're out of water, well, everyone else out of water too. So we really don't want to hear about it. We don't want to hear how thirsty you are, or that your lips cracking and you can't feel your tongue, because it's the drama thing. I think that is the number one. The thing that, because strength, guys really are only as strong as they can be. But drama, nobody has to be dramatic. You know what I mean? Just be a man. Just when you're done doing pull-ups, just drop off the bar. Don't hang there and make funny faces for a minute and get yelled at. So that's my training tip.
Yeah, because it always sucked in a boat. Doing the stuff at Buds or going through Hell Week, and there's somebody just will not shut up. You just want to cave his skull in with a paddle, and you pray he gets, he drops. And it's certainly it's even worse in teams. It's some of it. You kind of expect it out at Buds a little bit because you guys are just learning how to be SEALs. But it's man, you don't tolerate any of that shit in SEAL team. The whining days are over. Except for
a whiner in a SEAL team will seriously, there'll be one or two per platoon, and very rare. I mean, I can think of one guy right now who made a career out of it.
Wuno?
Most of them, they're on an island by themselves, and nobody wants to be with them because, you volunteered to do this shit, dude. Suck it up.
Would that have been the guy that was in our platoon?
Yeah, that would be.
Would he not live too far from here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have him on. Wuno. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's been in for a long time now, man. Yeah, he's a good dude. But yeah, he used to have a problem with that radio. Oh man, never mind, dude.
Because I was a point man, and people would be like, "You're not carrying shit." And I go, well, guess what? Every time you guys are on a rest here, I'm out walking around, climbing hills, looking for the next, 4 clicks of terrain. It all evens out. Sometimes I wish I carried the radio or the 60 so I could sit down once per night. So there's like, but some people wouldn't see that. Some guys would see the point man and the PL out, just never taking a rest and get it. Like, ooh, at least I'm getting to sit. But some guys are like, oh, this radio is so heavy, or my battery's fuck you. Quit crying.
Easy day. Any other training tips for these guys?
It's totally doable. I mean, there's no reason any man who can pass the screening test can't make it. It's your brain. And the way I look at it is, you could take Adrian Peterson, or you name a major stud, Matt Hughes, whatever, and if they went to Buds and they didn't want to be a SEAL enough, they wouldn't make it. I mean, they're phenomenal athletes. They're as strong as a human could be, but if their brain isn't there, they ain't
lot of you know, bad stuff goes on out there. I think guys think you know, too many of them think that quitting, you know, is it. You know, and you get dropped quick for you know, academics. A lot of guys get hurt. Unfortunately, they break easy out there, get pneumonia, cellulitis, all kinds of weird stuff. And
yeah, you got to take care of yourself. Okay, here's a training tip. If it's the weekend and you're in Tijuana or wherever the hell you can, you're not doing yourself any favors, because your body needs a little bit of me time, you know, food and rest. And for me personally, because I was really young, I had to make it through my first class. I was super motivated, and nobody was going to stop me. Nobody was going to hurt me. But if I would have bought a roll, I'm not. I mean, I would have probably lost like 60% of my head of steam. So, and it took me taking care of myself so that I could make it through my first class and make everything come together.
yeah, same, man. I'm very lucky to have gotten it, and you know, I didn't get hurt. I didn't get injured. What'd you call them? Lawn darts? What do you call it? Sand darts? When the guys fall off the rope?
Sand darts. Yeah, when they're hanging by their feet crossed over for about 5 seconds, and you're just waiting to hear that ding, and then they hit in the dirt.
Not good, man. Get dinged up, but you know, never got hurt, never not bad, never got sick, and in and out in 6 months. You know, that's the only way to do it, because getting rolled is.
You know, I figure you owe it to the Navy. You know, these guys who make a career out of buds. I mean, I know one of them who became a super war hero. You know, God bless him, but generally it's like, dude, it's a 6-month course. So you've been here longer than I have, and I'm an instructor. Why don't you move on? So yeah, I would definitely recommend looking at it for what it is. Just hit it hard, get it done, and move on.
What's the most hell weeks you ever heard somebody having to go through?
Many too. I've never met anybody who's gone through 3.
I did. Yeah, got one that did 3. He was out here not too long ago doing something. Don't ask me why he had to do 3. It was a typical thing, but about I forget what the third reason was. But yeah, just breaking easy. Easy day, man. Anything else to share with the guys, dude? Teams, buds, anything?
That's all I got, bro. Just give me a call back when you're doing this next forum.
All right. What did you? What were you doing? Watching the unit when I called?
Yeah, I was. I was cleaning my gun, watching the unit.
Reminiscing and shit. Good for you. I'm gonna call Big Aaron Griffin here in a minute, and he's probably watching Dances with the Stars or some shit. Dancing with the Stars. So we'll see what he's up to.
All right, amigo. Hey, take care.
Bill, thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. Get out here in the spring, bro.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, bro.